Hit me.
And we're loving WWE right now. We're loving NXT right now. We're loving TNA right now. Then there's the other guys. And I say the other guys, AEW. I could say a lot of critical things about the creative and all that kind of thing. Oh, they could do this better. They could do that better. There's, stuff that you can fix over there. We really need to zero in on Tony Khan for a second. And I'm on a 3 strikes and you're out policy.
Yeah.
And if you follow me on this, right? We know there's a bunch of people that want to leave and can't leave. That's an ongoing situation, right?
I mean, Ricky Starks
But on
just
top,
denied his his
release.
ability to leave, his release. Same with Phoenix.
Yep. But here's where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah.
We talked about this, and the ones that have really, really hit home recently. Ricky Starks, he's holding on to bullshit to begin with, but also he's also keeping him from doing his book dates at GCW. So you're not going to do anything here, and I'm not going to let you do anything over there either.
No.
Second, Ray Phoenix, we're not going to have you do anything here. We're going to make you stay here. We're going to rip down all your merchandise off AEW shop. So you're going to stay here, not do anything, and not make any merch revenue. Now, the memo, and you might have heard it. Oh, it gets better. Nobody with an AEW or ROH contract is allowed to take any bookings anywhere around Las Vegas WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
Like, at what point, and I'm not saying this, but we're in the age right now where you hop on Twitter and anybody that somebody doesn't like just the default, I'll just call you a Nazi. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not calling Tony Khan a Nazi, but he's pretty much a tyrant at this point. At what point do we stop making the, Cracky Khan, whatever? At what point do we stop making those jokes and be like, this guy's a legitimate asshole, this guy's a legitimate tyrant?
Vince did the same stuff for a long time, and that's why he was hated. So Triple H, I don't think anybody's asked for their release, so I want to see how they're going to handle it if anybody wants to leave. But he has said previously that he doesn't want to work with anybody that doesn't want to be there. So if they want to leave, he's going to get
He doesn't want any grind runners.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's going to...
But here's the thing, though, right?
Well, now we hear
this
about...
May be...
obviously the dentist, DMD herself, Britt Baker,
yep.
All the issues coming to light there now, and she's another persona non grata not being talked to. Every time there's an issue, it seems
apparently
like
Deonna
AEW doesn't call you
not
anymore.
Apparently Deonna Purrazzo's not being quiet about her unhappiness either, as of this weekend.
You sent me a message the other day, and like a broken clock being right twice a day, this tweet from JD was pretty telling. He said the feeling in AEW is gone because the tag champs are ex-WWE talent. Same thing with the TBS champ, the AEW World champ, and the Trios champ. They're all ex-WWE talents. And then you have Lashley, Benjamin, MVP, Jeff Jarrett, Christopher Daniels, Copeland, Jericho, all in major storylines. All of them are 50 or older. You know what I mean? And that was a thing that's been upsetting. No one of the original AEW homegrown pillars became really what they could have been. MJF got stunted both between injury and how his booking was handled. Sammy Guevara, I mean, what the fuck ever. We saw what happened to him. They had a
Sammy Guevara got moved to ROH because Sasha Banks says so.
Yeah, and then we have to deal with, Jungle Jack Bitch Perry and all of his scapegoat nonsense bullshit and the lack of things he's accomplished. And then, of course, it's like, what do we have left? Darby Allin, who's more focused on climbing Mount Everest this year than coming back to fight Jon Moxley. So...
And do you want to know what the result of all that is? I think it's funny
Collision?
Because the last time, well, yeah, but the last time they were in the same city at the same time, one was doing a pay-per-view and one was doing a house show, and the house show outsold them by miles, right?
And that was WWE's house show, and now, like you said, tonight they had Daly's Place. It's their homecoming.
Listen to me.
Collision homecoming.
Listen to me, buddy. Listen to me, buddy. Right, I'm going to give you 3 numbers, okay? AEW Collision. I didn't watch it because I was watching Saturday night's main event. Right
yes.
Now, I don't think it would be fair for me to compare a weekly show to a pay-per-view. Saturday night's main event is not a pay-per-view, my guy.
Yeah, it's another weekly
right?
show. That's the whole point of it. It's just a weekly
Daly's
show
Place
on free TV.
Daly's Place. Tickets distributed to Daly's Place. 2,916 tickets. Not even 3,000.
Okay.
Not even 3,000 in what is their home base, in where they lived during COVID, all that type of stuff, right? Less than 3,000. The Frost Bank, or sorry, Frost or First Bank Center in San Antonio, Texas, tonight for Saturday night's main event, which all the Mud Show fans are just saying, oh, well, it's just their version of Battle of the Belts. It's nothing to really be concerned about. Excuse me. 15,263. 15,263.
That's quite the difference.
Versus 3,000. But here's the one that kills me, because here's where I am going to make a drastic thing that's probably not that fair. I think it's fair to look at Daly's Place because it is their home base and it's where their loyalist fans are. It's where they lived literally for the downside all through COVID and whatever, right?
Yes.
They made almost 3,000 tickets tonight.
And they handed out a lot as well. They had given away a bunch of tickets.
But here's the thing, though. Looking forward as well, to the Royal Rumble, which is a different type of event. I want to be fair. Big Four pay-per-view of the year and all that. I understand that. They just passed the 60,000 mark for tickets.
Over 60K tickets distributed so
that's
far. Sold.
Jake, let me just say, that's 20 times the tickets that AEW sells at their home base.
For their homecoming. This was Collision Homecoming. That was the hashtag, because they wanted all of their fans to come out in mass tonight to support Collision live, because Saturday night's main event was on, so they wanted to show that they could, still bring in their best audience. They had Timeless Tony Storm come back. A lot of people are all for it. I was not a fan of the amnesia gimmick. I called this as soon as she came out saying that she was her younger self again. The whole plucky upstart was just a ruse. Anyone that didn't see it coming, and I don't mind suspending my disbelief and being like, hey, that's funny, but this was not it. Like, it just...
I think her playing a black and white actress and saying that that's her real character and her being her real self is a gimmick, I think it's a stupid idea. It's an idea that was defended by a certain somebody over at What Culture who's pretty biased. I think it's ridiculous, and it's a misuse of somebody who is in ring absolutely fantastic. Like,
I know this
do
is
we see Willow Nightingale picking up that big?
No,
which is fine, but also you got to do what, like Nikki Cross. Let's be fair. Let's look across the border at Nikki Cross, who tried to do the Nikki ASH thing because she wanted to do something that would be specifically for kids, a superhero, somebody that the kids could enjoy and all that kind of thing. I applaud her for that. I applaud Tony Storm for how well she throws herself into this timeless gimmick, just the same way as I applaud Nikki Cross for trying to do the ASH thing, having a vision for, hey, I want to do this for kids. But eventually you had somebody like Vince who gave a reality check and said, nah, this ain't working.
Yeah, no. And that was kind of the problem.
But he's such a mean guy, and he controls everybody, blah, blah, blah. You need to not be their friend sometimes, because even the ones that you tried to be friends to want to leave your party.
Yeah.
Because you're a tyrant. There's
just
5 or 6 people that get their way in that company. The rumor is, I don't know how true this is. Maybe you can tell me. The rumor is that they're amalgamating the ROH and AEW titles at the Australia show. Is there any truth to that?
I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I had seen that discussed on Reddit. So I don't know if that's just a proposed plan or if that's actually happening. But
because here's the thing, we already know that the people that they're
up ROH,
they're the people that they're not really using but want to hold on to anyway. Like I say, Sammy Guevara is a great example. We can't have you on the show because Sasha Banks said no, so I'll shuffle you over to ROH because I also don't want to lose you. I don't want you to go to WWE, right? Does it not punctuate how useless ROH is if they amalgamate the ROH title into the AEW title, when the AEW title as a belt hasn't existed in months?
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's just been ignored. And I mean, how many other titles have fallen to the wayside? Not again to dish on Mercedes, but she has how many belts at this point? It's just
She's got a
Well,
really, really sore jaw this morning.
now Ring of Honor, like you said, are changing plans for their weekend in Vegas around WrestleMania because
Oh yeah, they're not going to Vegas either.
they're
See, okay,
pulling out
here's the
now.
difference. Here's the difference. I'm pointing out Tony Khan being a tyrant, being having his thumb down on everybody, right? About the Vegas thing. I don't blame him for pulling his own show out of Vegas and not wanting to compete with WWE. I think probably in the end that's a smart idea. But
I
if you're the
disagree.
company, but if you're the
Honestly,
company that touted, no, but that's his company. He can do it,
yeah,
right? If he
no, he
wants to pull
can.
out and go somewhere else, that's fine. The attention is not going to be on them in Vegas, regardless of if they're there or not.
No,
But my
it's
point
not.
is,
But
it's his company. He can do that. Never mind the fact that when they started AEW, he said he would never run a show to compete with WrestleMania, and then he went back on that and used ROH as the excuse. But like, if he wants to pull his own show out of Vegas, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I would actually make a positive argument for that, and I could give him the most sliverest of credit for that if that's the case. But to be the company that says, "Oh, we give our wrestlers freedom and we can go wherever we want and roddy rah, and I'll allow them because I'm the nice guy, I'm the
yeah,
good guy boss," which is a thing that doesn't exist, and then say nobody under my thumb can touch Las Vegas that week at all.
here's my issue
Fuck
with
off,
it.
man.
This is the problem I see with all of it is that I don't think it's a bad business move to have the show there because what happens is wherever Mania is becomes a central hub for like the mecca of all wrestling fans. So everybody goes and has shows there because fans are obviously they don't do it usually Mania night. Sometimes they do for people that don't have tickets to Mania, but for the most part, they jam pack from Thursday to Sunday afternoon. Like they get GCW and they had the blood sport shows and they had, but and then that's why they have all the conventions and WrestleCons and all because everybody supports everything. It's like I said, it's wrestling mecca. So to pull out of that,
no.
I feel like they're hurting
Don't get
themselves.
it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I don't think it's bad if he does do a show there. I wouldn't.
I think it's
would be
bad
weird.
to pull out, though. I think you're hurting because you're saying you don't want to work with the collective wrestling people around you. You know,
Exactly.
It's a bad look.
See, here's the thing. I wouldn't mind because I don't care. I don't care what wrestling company you follow. WrestleMania weekend, the wrestling world is looking at wherever WrestleMania is. Tell yourself whatever else you want. That's just a fact. I don't care if AEW wanted to go to Vegas and run a show that weekend. I wouldn't blame them. It's just the simple fact that of all the proclamations that were made when this company first started, we would never go and try to piggyback off WrestleMania. We're not the what do you call it? The piggyback company, the counter programming company, even though they very, very clearly are. Like if they ran a show WrestleMania, if they ran a show WrestleMania weekend, I wouldn't blame them. I would call it a smart thing. They do an ROH show WrestleMania weekend. I don't blame them. That's a smart thing. It's the fact that you said you did. You said you weren't going to do all the things you knew you were going to do. That's the problem.
That is.
We're gonna stand up for women and diversity and whatever by having one match a week.
And that's the thing. Like they're trying to virtue signal with this by saying like, oh no, we don't want that. But it's like, what are you gonna do? It's very disheartening because it's a bad look. I really feel like it's just a bad look, pulling away from the wrestling community and being like, no, we don't want to operate with all all the fans showing up. You've got hundreds of thousands of people that go between all the collective shows throughout the days. I'm not saying it once, but overall, you know what I mean? Like they said, ticket sales are through the roof. That's why WrestleMania boosts the economy because they have multiple
especially
shows
at a time
and events,
especially
and
at a time
signings.
where WWE is finally, after all these years, reaching out to the rest of the wrestling community. But as I say, getting back to my point, if he wants to pull his own show out of that weekend, that's his choice. I have no problem with that. There's probably an argument that could be made for it. Maybe he wants to protect himself against having accusations of piggybacking off WrestleMania weekend. So I'll put that to one side. But being the guy that says, no, I'm the good guy. I let my people perform everywhere, and saying, nah, that's WrestleMania weekend. You might bump into somebody from WWE and they might tell you how much better it is over there. So I don't want you anywhere near Vegas WrestleMania weekend. The dude needs to fuck off.